Hey folks, Dave here. Appreciate you stopping back by for another video, and I hope everyone's doing well today. If you're new to the channel, thank you for stopping by. I hope you find the video useful and enjoyable. So what we're going to do is a quick tutorial in Lightburn on how to connect letters together and then how to connect those letters to an object. And there is a lot of information, or some information out there on how to do it, some videos, but I like to put my understanding out, and then the commenters can help me get straight where I mess something up, and then it helps all the viewers to learn better with the video coupled with the comments. So we're going to use 3 fonts and show how the letters connect or don't connect together and how to correct it when we need to. So we're going to start with the text tool. I'm using a font. It's called Ballet Harmony. I used it in my last video, and it is a 100% free font that I downloaded from defont.com, and I'll put a link down in the description. It's always good to check for if you're using a font or a vector. You just want to make sure that it is for commercial use before you use it in that way. Okay, so we're just going to click and we're going to type the word welcome. Okay, remember you can scroll in and out with your mouse. Scroll, you can push down on it and move the entire canvas around. So you'll notice that these letters are touching, but they're not yet welded. Up top, you'll see the welded option. You want to make sure that's green. And then after you type your word, if it can be connected, it'll connect once you click the selection tool. So this word would be complete and ready to cut out as a single piece. Note that all of the inner pieces are connected, and because of the dancing lines, and this word would be ready to go and cut out. So we're going to change to a different font. We'll use I believe this is a standard Microsoft font. It's called Brush Script. And we're going to type the same word. And then we're hitting the selection tool. You note that the most of the letters are already connected, but the W is not. So we're going to hit the selection tool. We're going to just kind of line this up a little bit. So these are all, it's one piece, but it's not connected. So if you tried to cut this out, of course, your W would fall off. So we're going to select the entire thing. We're going to right click. We're going to convert it to path. Once you do that, it becomes less of a letters and more of an object, because you can't go back in here and double click like normal and add letters into it. You'll also note that once you convert to path, these center pieces are no longer connected. But all we want to do is connect the E to the W. And to do that, we're going to pull from the right, get a green line. That way we can group this piece together, all of the inner pieces. You can do it up here at the top, or you could right click on it and click group. Excuse me. I got some kind of allergy thing going, I guess. Okay, so now we want to connect it here. First, we're going to get a duplicate of that with Control D. and pull it down so we can do it a different way after we connect this one. So you can just grab the end of the word here and just drag it over toward the W. Let it touch a little bit. Shift, select the W, and then go over to the left and click Weld. And now you have one complete piece that you could cut out. Of course, sometimes when you're dealing with scripts, even though you can cut them out, they may get a little flimsy. So we will look at a way of dealing with that as well. Okay, so this one is done. Now, another way to connect is to use nodes. So we're going to select this and we're going to ungroup it. Again, you can do it up top or by right-clicking. We want this outer piece to be separate from the inner pieces. Excuse me. So now we just want to touch the outer portion of the letters and the W. And it'll select all those together and it won't select the inner pieces. And then you always want to make sure it's converted to path. And then you can click nodes up top. And if you hover over, you can see the hotkeys for the nodes. So one option would be to break a portion of this here and connect it to the E. So you can hover over one of these nodes and click, I guess we'll do it on this one, and then click the letter B for break, and then it'll break it apart. Maybe. I think it broke it in a different spot. Let's try this spot. Yes, it broke it there. Paying attention is big in working with Lightburn, and I don't always pay attention. So, all right, now we're going to pull this one over. I know it looks a little wonky right now, but we're gonna fix it because these handlebars here you can use to maneuver and straighten out what you're doing. A lot of my stuff needs straightening out. Okay, so excuse me again. Sorry. So we don't have a node here to break into. So if you hover over the line and push the letter I, you can insert a node. Then you can push B and break it apart, like so. And then you can touch the node we created on the other side and it'll lock to it. Then you can take this handlebar, I don't know what just happened. You can take that handlebar and straighten it out a little bit. Let's see how bad that looks. Might have to bend that one a little bit. I know this seems painful, but sometimes the pain is necessary to get the result that you want. Okay, we're going to add another node. Let's see if this one will bend over. Maybe we can pull that one down, connect it there. I'm just playing, folks, because I'm new at this. I think I said in my last video, I've had my laser for a year, but I am determined to learn how to do it. So if this little area bothered you, I mean, I know that looks a little wonky, but you could hover over it and just push the I, get you another node, and then you could drag it around and play with it a little bit and make it look a little better. And then once you're done, click your selector tool and you have a word. So now you need to, before you cut it out, you'd have to go back and connect these center pieces. And if you'll just pull from the right, get that green line, all you have to do is touch each part, and then you can just group them together, and you're good and ready to cut out. So if you pull from the left, you get a red line, and you can't just touch the object to select it. You have to completely surround the object. And I say this all the time, but you never know when there'll be a new viewer that might want that little tidbit. Comes in handy. Okay, so now we have this script, this ballet harmony that comes out connected from the start. If you have your weld selected up top, and it'll weld after you click the select button. We have this one that we had to pull the end of the letter, the end of the word back into the W, and then weld it together. And then this one we used nodes. But sometimes you have individual letters. Just because you like the font. I have one I like. It's called Cooper Black. And again, I believe that is a standard Microsoft font. And Lightburn doesn't come with any fonts. So whatever fonts you have on your computer, when you load Lightburn, it inherits those fonts. So when you're doing, especially when you're doing commercial work, make sure that the font you're using is public domain, or you have the proper license to distribute. Okay, so now we have Cooper Black selected. We're going to type out welcome again. And we have individual letters. They're not touching. I'm going to hit the selector tool. And they are not touching, but we want them to touch. I think we'll reduce the size a little bit. You can just grab the corner, reduce it down. But sometimes you may need those individual letters. And the best way I know of to connect them together is just to grab a square. Just grab the square up top, draw out a rectangle, and just make sure it touches. You can hit your selector tool and then play with the line. You don't want it to go up too far. Of course, you could put a thin one down the center if you wanted to. But as long as it's touching every letter, you're okay. And these are grouped together, so it is considered one object. So you can select your word, then shift, select your line there, and then click weld. And then you have everything connected. You could cut it out as one piece. Now, if you wanted to add that to an object, or any of these, sometimes your scripts are a little flimsy, so putting this piece on the bottom, especially if you're doing something like making Christmas ornaments or something, you would want to add a little more stability. So we're going to grab a circle, and we're just going to push down the shift key and draw out a circle. And let it go and hit your selector tool. And with this selected, we're going to go over to the offset tool, and we're going to do a inward offset, and 4 millimeters looks good. It must have been the last thing I used for something. So, and your original object will stay selected, so you could move it around, get it out of there if you needed to. I'm pushing Control Z to put it back. So with it selected, you can shift, select the other one, group it together, And now you have one object here and one object here. And you have to, when you're dealing with weld or union, you need to stick with two objects. So if it ever don't work, look for something that's not closed, or look to see if you have multiple objects some way. Okay, so we want to center this. So you can select the lettering, shift, select the outside, and then just click bullseye. It'll put it in the center. Then we're going to select the lettering, and we're just going to drag it out enough to touch. We want it to touch on both sides, just a little bit, like so. And with that still selected, you just shift, select, and in this case we have to use union, not weld, because we're spanning a space. So if you're covering a space like this, union is the option you're looking for. And now we have one piece. You can still see the lettering good, and you can do that with any of these. So I hope that was helpful. I really appreciate you watching. And if you have any trouble with this, you can drop me a comment, and I'll put links in the description for all of our tutorials and the playlist for projects. Check it out. You might find something you like, something that's helpful. And if you have trouble with any of it, send me a comment, or if you just have some basic laser or Lightburn questions, I'll be glad to try to help get you an answer. So I really appreciate y'all watching, and it helps the channel grow. So y'all take care, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.